This is the Huawei Watch GT, and it's part fitness tracker and part smartwatch. But is it successful at being either of those two things? We've been wearing it for a couple of weeks to find out. Let's quickly talk about the design. This is a metal body, and on this version it has a DLC coating to give it this rather cool black look. And on the back it's a plastic panel with the heart rate sensor in the middle, and there's some pins either side for the charging system. The bezel around the screen is ceramic, so it has a really nice feel to it. It certainly looks premium. It's a 1.4 inch screen with a 454 by 4544 pixel resolution. And although that sounds quite big, 1.4 is quite a large screen size, it's actually fairly compact. As you can see, Huawei's made a really great effort to slim down the sides, and this certainly isn't a massive smartwatch. It's surprisingly small. This version has got a silicone rubber strap, and it's really comfortable. Very, very comfortable because it's so bendy and floppy. It doesn't catch, it doesn't get annoying, it doesn't get sweaty. It's really comfortable. They also make a leather and silicone versions. The silicone goes underneath and the leather goes on top, and that makes it more wearable on a daily basis, and also actually keeps the leather supple and won't see it deteriorate quite so quickly. Let's take a look at what makes this a smartwatch first. Initially, you're going to think this maybe runs Google's Wear OS, and while it looks fairly similar, it's not. This is Huawei's own Light OS operating system. And yes, there are visual similarities, but that's pretty much where they end. This does not have third-party apps. It does not run in quite the same way, so you still have this awful long list of notifications that come through from your phone, whereas Wear OS has improved on that recently. And when you go into the menu is primarily fitness based. There's a few other bits in there, but for the most part, you're going to be digging through the menu to do your fitness things. Now, there's a reason that Huawei decided not to use Wear OS, and it was mostly about battery life. It preferred to create its own operating system to help manage battery better. And that's probably the most successful part of the Watch GT. Inside here, the battery will return about 2 weeks of use, and that's based on using the GPS and the heart rate sensor for about 90 minutes per week. So an average person, a casual fitness fan, is going to be able to use this and charge it every 2 weeks. And that's way better than the daily charging routine we'd expect from a Wear OS watch. Additionally, if you don't use any of those things, you could realistically expect the battery last 30 days. And that's even better. Now we're getting into average hybrid smartwatch battery life when they've got a touchscreen at least. And this is, as you saw, a touchscreen. While it connects to your Android phone or your iOS phone, it doesn't do so through Wear OS Watch app. Obviously, it uses Huawei Health, and this is really what the Watch GT is all about. It's about fitness, and we're going to have a look at that aspect now. The Watch GT is a basic smartwatch. The fitness tracking abilities are where you're going to, in theory, want to buy this model. It's got a heart rate sensor on the back, it's got GPS built in, and it connects with the Huawei Health app. Now, this is primarily set up for runners. There's a lot of running features. If we go into the preloaded workout plans here, it's mostly around running and cycling. There are a few other bits in there too, but mostly you're going to be wearing this while running. Interestingly, it's also got a VO2 max test, which is also used primarily by runners to sort of see intensity and how hard they're working and things like that. If you use the other setting, you can track regular workouts and you get results like this. So you get where your training level was maintained, you get your general workout data, you get your consistent heart rate. We've matched this to an Apple Watch and found that it's consistent. Certainly the two deliver the same sort of result, and we also got the same sort of result from a stationary bike at the gym too, so it certainly seems to be fairly consistent. You also get this rather handy indication of where you are, which sort of area you were working out in. And then unusually you get a recovery time as well. So it's ideal if you're fairly casual as a fitness fan, not somebody who's a really serious athlete or anything like that. But the data it gives you on the watch is actually quite impressive. And that's repeated again in the Huawei Health app that's installed on your phone. You can measure heart rate as you go. You've got tracking of all your activity built in to the watch, and it will also track sleep. As we've mentioned, this strap is lovely and comfortable, and we felt no problem at all wearing this during the night. And it also takes your heart rate when you sleep. So the records that it gives you are actually quite comprehensive. Rather a nice additional feature. Sleep is often something that's forgotten on fitness tracking smartwatches. There's a few other details in there too. So as a workout friend, we quite like this. However, there's one really confusing oversight. Huawei obviously wants you to use the Watch GT when you're out running without your phone, because it's got GPS built in and it's got a heart rate sensor and it's got all that good stuff. But there's no internal storage. There's no way to link this to Bluetooth headphones, stream music, or load music yourself onto the watch. And we feel that's a bit of a serious oversight. You can use an Apple Watch, you can use most Wear OS watches with pre-installed apps or your own music inside, and you've still got to carry your phone with you if you want to listen to music whilst tracking your fitness with the Watch GT. Something to remember. What else don't we like about the Watch GT? There's no ambient time display. You can tap the screen as many times as you like to wake it and it's not going to work. You have to push a button to wake the screen or use the gesture to lift your wrist to show the time, which actually does work quite well. But there are times where we just like to tap the screen. Thank you very much, Huawei, but not on this one. You have to press a button itself. Sadly, the list of things we don't like continues, and it's mostly to do with Light OS itself. It's all a bit slow and it's not really that smooth. It's vastly improved from an early version that we tried, but it's still not fantastic. And this long list of notifications is pretty pointless. It also quite often doesn't tell you actually what's sending you the message. It does it very well with Instagram, but quite often there are things that just say message and then the content underneath. And it's not really that helpful. There's not much customization outside of a few watch faces on here. There's quite a nice selection, but they're not really very inspirational. There's no way to use third-party apps. And although Wear OS is not fantastic, it is better than this. And this can't quite match the really superb experience you get with Samsung's Tizen or Apple's Watch OS. What about the positives? We've mentioned just how comfortable this watch is to wear, and also the superb battery life. And we also do quite like the fitness tracking ability. It's very simple to use, and for the casual fitness fan, it's going to be everything that you need. We also prefer the fact that this is stylish, and we really quite like the look of the Watch GT, way more than the thought of wearing a fitness band on a regular basis. So those are all distinct positives. The price is reasonable. It's £180. Now, it's not available in the US, but that equates to around sort of $210 thereabouts. So it's not really expensive. It's quite reasonable. However, at that price, there are many, many other options, and that's a bit of a problem for Huawei. They're entering a space that's very crowded with fitness bands, hybrid smartwatches, mechanical watches at that cost, and then you can wear a very cheap fitness band next to it. So we're a bit confused as to who will really want the Watch GT, particularly because there's no music feature. It's something that we really want if we're going to wear £180 worth of smartwatch on a daily basis and exercise while leaving our smartphone at home. That is the Huawei Watch GT. It's available now, and while we like many aspects of it, we're a bit confused over who really is going to want one.